My name is Kristen Schaefer, and I am the Absolut Vodka Ambassador for Las Vegas, Nevada. I love my job. So Absolut is just this tiny little vodka brand. No, actually it's pretty massive. I think Absolut is probably one of the most iconic brands out there. And I mean, you couldn't walk into a college dorm room back in the early 90s and not see an Absolut poster somewhere. You know, the marketing campaigns that they did back when they first launched Absolut were phenomenal, led by Michel Roux. I mean, it was just an amazing brand. It's iconic. The brand itself encompasses everything that people love in the world. Art, music, fashion. I mean, it's just such, the bottle itself, I mean, everybody recognizes that bottle. You know it. You know that's the Absolut bottle. But furthermore than the marketing campaign, the fashion and the music and all that jazz that Absolut does so very well, they actually make really good booze. The juice that's inside the bottle is phenomenal. It's all made in Sweden, in a very small region in southern Sweden, and every single drop of Absolut is produced there, from seed to bottle. The wheat is grown there, it's harvested there, it's distilled there, it's rectified there, it's bottled there, and then it's distributed to the entire world. So one of the things that I love the most about the brand is that no matter where I'm at in the world, I can always be guaranteed that Absolut's going to taste the same wherever I am. We're trying to drive our focus back towards our core flavors, which obviously would be Absolut Original or Absolut Blue base. There's so many different names for it now. We also like to focus a lot on citron and mandarin. Citron mostly because that kind of encompassed the Cosmopolitan. The first original Cosmopolitan was made with Absolut citron, Cointreau, cranberry, and lime. And that is kind of a staple icon in our brand's history. You know, the Cosmopolitan is a huge drink, worldwide known. So we're really trying to turn our focuses back on there, but still keep up with the innovation process. You have to keep up with the times. You know, other brands are coming out with all these different fun flavors, and so, you know, we don't like to follow everybody. We kind of like to try and lead, but the one thing that Absolut will never do is we'll never have artificial type flavored products like cake and whipped cream and those sort of items. Absolut will always stick with natural flavors, which is something that I appreciate about the brand. We don't add sugar to our flavors, which makes it, our flavors a really great base for creating cocktails with, because then the bartender themselves can actually alter the amount of sugar content that's in the cocktail, because there is no sugars in our flavors. So that's one of the things that I love about that brand. We actually use a method called extraction. So that's the easiest way that I can explain it. So the extraction method, we'll take citron for example. So what we do is we have a company that takes lemons and lime, you know, because citron is not just a lemon-based flavor. We also have a little bit of lime in there. And they send all these lemons and limes down this extraction belt. And what the extraction belt does is it has thousands of tiny needles that are pinpointing at the lemons and pulling out the actual natural essence of the lemons. And what you're left with is that vial of natural essence. And then it's sent over to our distillery, and they have, you know, mastered it. They have a specific amount of grammage that they put in per liter, per bottle, and that's how we make it. And it's regular Absolut with natural flavors added in straight from like the extraction belt. Oh wow, well we have some great innovations coming out. Perhaps the one that I'm most excited about is Absolut Elix. Absolut Elix is our, I guess you would call it our new ultra premium. And we're launching it to this market March time. It is, the wheat is grown in a single estate in Sweden, and it touches the hands of a single farmer, and we actually make the vodka, distill the Absolut Elix in the old distilleries. So there's 2 distilleries in Sweden. There's one in Aarhus, which was where the first Absolut production was taking place, and then obviously it just got too big, so we needed to make a bigger distillery, which we did, called Nobelhof. So Absolut Elix will be made in this old distillery, and the entire distillation process, the column stills are completely covered in copper. I mean, copper is used in all forms of distillation anyways, but we've taken it to the next level and we're using a lot of copper for this. So we call it copper catalyzation. So I'm really excited for Elix because it's just a very beautifully rounded sipping vodka. It's silky and creamy and the wheat shines through, and it's definitely going to be, it's going to change the game, I think, for premium vodkas. You know, we did this event called Absolut Stuka, which we are doing in a few major markets to kind of re-engage the trade again. Show them what we're doing, how we make the vodka, what makes us different from other brands. But instead of just throwing just like this little tiny party, we actually built an entire set for it. So a Stuka is actually a Swedish hut in essence. So we built an entire village. So instead of bringing people to Sweden, we brought Sweden to the people. So the first one we did was in Las Vegas, which was amazing for me because we got to launch it in my market. It was an entire village, 3 different Stukas. In each Stuka there was a different experience. So the first one was based upon the terroir, the wheat, how we grow it, where it's grown. And then the next one, the Stuka was designed almost like the inner column of a column still. So it kind of looked like you were standing inside of a column still. And then we had the master distiller there going over how we make it and distill it and rectify it and the entire process. And then you'd move to the next Stuka, and we had some amazingly iconic bartenders that were kind of there when Absolut was being launched. Nick Strangeway, Toby Cicchini, like him actually making a Cosmopolitan in front of the guests. And then you walked out into like the village courtyard area, and there was food stations and cocktail stations and a live band playing. It was just this amazing experience, and I think that Absolut doing that was a pretty wild and amazing thing for them to do. Absolut was an animal. Wow. An elephant, because elephants are extremely intelligent and very statuesque creatures, and everybody knows what they are in the world. Please remember to always drink responsibly and make sure you tip your bartenders.